announcement or declaration, whatever. And Shamim also at a later stage will be joining me. But Akim, let me start off with you. Would we say it's decision day, it's doomsday? Because depends on whatever side one is looking at it. But what does the mood look like at the Supreme Court?
Well, a very good morning to you, Mildred, and everyone watching the Media Roundtable. 31st January 2025, the day it is, the day that has been described already as monumental in whichever way it comes or whatever comes out of the building that is right behind me. The day when the Michael Kabaziguruka case is certainly going to be decided by the Supreme Court justices to actually speak to the question of how civilians are supposed to be treated, whether they are supposed to be charged and tried in military courts, or they should actually go to the civilian courts. A very long case that has a lot of context to it, a case that has actually been looked at as a deciding case for Dr. Kizza Besigye and Hajobe Lutale that are currently battling charges of treachery and possession of illegal firearms, and they are facing those charges in the military court. A case that certainly has a lot of interest by a number of Ugandans, including law dons, including law students, and ordinary Ugandans that are certainly doing politics, and the others that have actually been tried in military courts. It should be noted, and it should indeed be remembered, that this is a case that has been pending a decision for about 4 years, and today has certainly been looked at as one of the days that are very, very critical to the jurisprudence of this country in relation to trial of civilians in military courts, and whether this is going to be the light at the end of the tunnel for a number of Ugandan civilians that are still being tried in military courts. Otherwise, that is the mood right here. I can tell you that already we have the Supreme Court is highly guarded. The security protocols are quite high. Otherwise, we've seen a number of people trying to come in. Like I've told you already, that the level of interest is certainly high. Maybe the reason as to why the Supreme Court is heavily guarded. But some prolific lawyers and law dons have already started making way into the premises of the Supreme Court. I've seen one that goes by a sobriquet of perennial litigant, Malemabiri, is already arriving right at this particular premise. I've seen Counsel Uyimbazi Nalukola at this particular venue, and then I've also seen, quite to note and quite monumental, Colonel Raphael Mugisha, who is the lead prosecutor in the Dr. Kizza Besigye case, has already arrived right here, which also tells you how much of the stakes are right in this particular case. I just want to speak and maybe just take you around and just show you the mode around this particular court, so you can just be able to see and know to it how and why certainly people need to be available at this particular venue. I've told you already that many people have already started arriving, including law students. Maybe it is certainly one of those things that are very important to them. And now let us just be able to just show you that one of the students, or someone that is actually attending in their final year, is right here, just to tell us how important is this case and why are you here?
Yes, good morning, viewers. My name is Wawire Emmanuel Achoka. The reason as why I'm here, I have come to listen to the final ruling of Attorney General versus Honorable Kabaziguruka, and this has set very many constitutional questions, the right fair hearing, as well as the rule of law and human rights in Uganda.
Certainly. And why we need to continue along with this particular discussion, Councillor Uyimbazi Nalukola, if you just be able to just draw closer to us and tell us why this particular day is certainly the one that you've already described as the judiciary on trial. Why do you think the judiciary is certainly on trial, and why do you think today is a very important day for Uganda?
It's a very important day for Ugandans. Ugandans are expecting a certain angle to be taken by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court should answer that question which has been lingering in the minds of many Ugandans. Should the military general court martial continue enjoying such a jurisdiction over civilians when it was not granted by the law. The Supreme Court is expected by law-abiding citizens, those who love good governance, rule of law, human rights, expect the Supreme Court to uphold the decision of the Constitutional Court to the effect that military general court martial has no jurisdiction over civilians.
What is the best case and what is the worst case scenario in this particular instance?
We are positive that the Supreme Court will find in favor of Honorable Kabaziguruka, as the Constitutional Court did. That is what is expected, the positive result expected by us. The dangerous decision that can be made is the statement by the Supreme Court that the General Court Martial can continue trying civilians. That will be very dangerous. It will be detrimental to political actors, because General Museveni seems to have trust in General Court Martial. And on several occasions, they have always framed up cases against the political actors, like Dr. Kiza Besigye, Haji Obedi Rutare, among others. He believes that it is the General Court Martial which can obey commands in the very manner military officers respect and adhere to such commands. So, but we are insisting that these cases where civilians are alleged to have committed any offenses should be taken to civilian courts, not the General Court Martial. We shall keep insisting. It is very dangerous because it is the Supreme Court which determines whether somebody should be hanged in case of, say, murder and other capital offenses.
Right there you have it, a very optimistic council. We will monitor how this shall go down at the end of the day. Otherwise, that is the mode more people still expected, and higher expectations on the side of lawyers, law dons, law students, and each and every other person that is interested in the jurisprudence of this country. Back to you, Mildred, at the Political Command Center.
All right, thank you very much.